What's going on, people? Welcome back to Premier League Unpacked episode 48. Before we dive into anything, I just want to say a big thank you to all the panel, all the guests on the show that make this show possible. So DSG, Patrick, Guna, Lee, Roms, Bish, he's not here, can't make it with us on a little retreat at the moment. But enough love. I just want to say a big appreciation and thank you guys for showing the channel love and being a part of this show every single week. Because to be honest, without you guys, there is no show. And it's very enjoyable, something I look forward to every single week. So I just want to say a big appreciation and thank you for that straight away. People, make sure you're smashing a like on the video. All the Mandem's channels are in the description below, whether you're watching now or later. Please show some love. Go one click of a button and subscribe to everyone's channel below. It's simple, it's easy. And if you don't do it, I don't know what use man are on. But today, we're going to keep it short and sweet. It's not going to be a big, long stream because it's nice and sunny and we want to try to cut it a little bit early and everyone could go and enjoy and do the thing. But we're going to give our individual best 11s and then do a combined 11 as well. Big up to the chat. I see you, man, in there. So we're going to start off with DSG first, yeah? So from top to bottom, goalkeeper to striker, give me your best 11 for the season.
I'm going to have to put Jack Butland in net to start. Obviously, De Gea, he's had his up and downs, but you know, he saved us too many times, more often than not this season and in so many other seasons. So I have to put him there. Left back, Luke Shaw, without a doubt, he stepped up hard in the last season and a half. He stepped up hard. I think he was even pretty good last season. He was just playing in a very shit team. And obviously, naturally, it just drops your own performances as well. When the thing is, I think I could only say 2 or 3 times this season he's had an off performance, and that was on days where we were getting smashed by other teams as well. So there's that. Then next has to be Varane and Martinez together. Obviously.
What is this? Is this United or what's going on,
bro?
Premier League best 11.
Premier League.
Yes.
Oh
Premier
my
League.
God.
Not
Yo.
your team. Fucking
Bro,
hell.
I
thought
gonna
it
lie
was
to you, bro.
United. I thought you said United.
After DSG put De Gea in there, bro, I stopped listening, bro. I didn't
I didn't even realize.
You know what? De Gea could have a shout because of the
Nah.
Not even a United fan in the cup. Big up,
Yeah,
De Gea's a
but
man.
I'm saying
I didn't
nah.
realize.
When I started hearing too many United players, I was like, nah, let me just let him know. Because
No.
Go on.
Right.
Start it again.
Move to me. Let me think about that one now.
all right,
Go
cool.
on.
Go to someone else then.
I'll go.
Go on, Guna.
All right, so look, goalkeeper. I think if you look at it, it's between 3 players. It's between Alisson. I think it's between Alisson. It's between Ramsdale, and I think it's between Pope. And I think I'm only going to give it to Alisson. I'm not going to give it to Alisson. I'm only going to give it to Ramsdale because I think that the importance of what Ramsdale done for us this season, he single-handedly won us points to hopefully or potentially win us the Premier League. Now, listen, that doesn't take away from the amount of shots that he saved, Alisson, and all of these other great games he's had. But I can think of games against Leicester. I can think of games against Liverpool. That Liverpool away performance alone was game of the season. So listen, I think the guy has been against West Ham away. Like, I think he's just been really, really good. And Alisson's made mistakes. So has Ramsdale. I can remember, I believe it was against Leeds where Alisson passed the ball straight out to the defender and then they scored a goal. So he's made mistakes, man. Look, and he's a fantastic keeper. But I'm going to say for sure it's Ramsdale. Right back, I'm going to go Ben White. He's my favorite player, and I think he is the best right back in the league this season. Then we go centre backs. I'm gonna say Saliba, and I'm only gonna say Saliba because of the level. Wait, hold on.
Premier League, yeah.
No.
Yo, Premier League. The same thing I said to DSG. Premier League.
Yes.
Best
I'm
11.
saying
I'm just saying better Arsenal.
Lee's
players.
come back off holiday. Yeah, he's rejuvenated and now he's loving the Mandem again.
No, I'm gonna say Saliba. I'm gonna then say Diaz next to him. I think Diaz this season has been. He hasn't played every single game, but the games he's played, he's been very, very good. And then left back. This one was a little bit more tough for me. It was a little bit more tougher for me, but Yo, that this is funny, but I'm gonna say Luke Shaw. You know, I think Luke Shaw's had a good season, bro. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I think Luke Shaw's had a good season. I can't believe it, but yeah, I think Luke Shaw. DM, I'm gonna put Rodri in there. Number 6, I'm gonna say Rodri for sure. My 2 midfielders, 8 and 10. For the 8, I'm gonna definitely put De Bruyne in there, 100%. I think he's been great all season, even when they weren't playing well at the start. And then obviously the maestro himself, I'm gonna put Odegaard. Right wing, Saka. Up top, got to be the main man, the meat shield, Haaland. And on the left-hand side, there's only one man from Brazil, man. There's only one man from Brazil, Mr. Martinelli himself. So, yeah.
Say no more. So you've gone Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, Diaz, Shaw, Rodri, KDB, Odegaard, Saka, Haaland, and Martinelli.
There you go.
Not bad. Roms, do you want to go?
Yeah. This is probably the only bit of bias I'm gonna have in my team, but for me it has to be my keeper Alisson, because I'm telling you, lot, without him, we won't be far from Chelsea this season. I'm telling, he saved us at least a good 12 to 15 goals. You lot have seen some of the one-on-ones against teams in the league where you're expecting them to probably bury it. He moves like Superman at times. So Alisson's man, but honourable mention to Ramsdale and Pope. I think they both had amazing seasons. My right back's Kieran Trippier. I think for Newcastle, I'm not gonna lie, the last 2-3 weeks of the season, I think he kind of petered off. Like, I'm not really a stats man, but some Newcastle fans were speaking to you saying he wasn't assisting as much and his performance wasn't as high. But I know in their last game, I think the game against, it was Leicester, as much as it was 0-0, he put in a shift when it mattered and was to be able to see out that point that got them Champions League. So Trippier's my right back. My 2 centre backs is same as Lee's, Saliba and Diaz. I think Saliba, and I know you spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, Prems. Once he come out your team, you saw the change. You just saw the change in Arsenal. It wasn't as the system. You could tell there was a change in the system. And
squeaky bum time at the back, man. That's what it was.
Yeah, man, it was squeaky bum time, and I just think Saliba, he's a massive. That's like any of us losing our best centre back or one of the best centre backs. And my other one's Diaz, because as much as he was injured the first part of this season, I think he's a big reason. I think Bish was here. If Bish was here, he would agree. He's a big reason why they even kicked on. Because if you don't remember, the first couple months, City were a bit shaky, losing. People were questioning whether they win the title and that. He's come back in that team, and they went to a next level, man. It even enabled, I know the system at Stones to go in the midfield and whatnot, but my left back is Nathan Ake as well, because again, it's another player that, if you told me he's going to have a great season at the start of this season, I would have told you to shut up. Like, what do you mean Nathan Ake have a wicked season at left back? But he proved, I think, 90% of us wrong. I think he's had a wicked season. Now, my formation's different to accommodate a player, and I know
this guy
is going to be happy.
I know. That's why I kept him out. I kept him out on purpose, bro.
But mine's 4-2-3-1. My 2 hold so my 6 and my 8 is KDB and Rodri. I think it explains for itself. When it's squeaky bum time and they need to get the points on the board, them two just show up. For me, Rodri's been City's best player. I know Haaland's going to grab all the headlines, but without Rodri, City don't work for me. My number 10 is Harry Kane. And the reason why I say this, I can't ignore a guy that has scored 30 goals in that Spurs team. And I think you were saying last week, Patty, that he's broke the record for the most separate games scored. I think it was 25, 26.
It's now 20, it's 26 now because he scored 2 against Leeds.
Can I just ask you guys a question though? I know, but there's a reason why De Gea isn't the best player in the Premier League in terms of goalkeepers, even though he's got the most clean sheets. Has Harry Kane? I know he's got the stats, but has he been the best striker in the league? Because what you're basically doing is, because he's got the numbers, that means you might as well put more salary in there.
That's not what I'm doing.
I'm not saying you, Roms. I'm just talking in general.
I'll answer this when I get back to my one. I don't want to cut into Roms's thing.
Has he actually been and played as well as people are saying? For me, there's been many games I've seen this season where he's got the goal. Brighton, perfect. His season is summed up in that Brighton game. As a team, they were crap. Fine, I'm not putting it on Harry Kane. Harry Kane wasn't good, but he got a goal and he got a wonderful goal. Listen, fantastic goal. That strike that he had, only he can do it. And I'd probably say Mo Salah, because those two are great finishers. But has he actually been good? Has he actually been that guy? And that's all I'm saying.
I hear you, but just to rebuttal to that, I don't watch Spurs as much as Patrick, but when I watch Harry Kane, right, because they're so poor, no one's really on his wavelength. He's trying to do things, but other players that just aren't really on his wavelength. So when you say has he had the performances to probably match the stats, when I've watched Spurs, he has, but where he would see a mad ball and someone else hasn't read it, it then makes him look bad, if you know what I mean. Patty, you probably know what I mean, but there's the team that's kind of not on his wavelength. But my front three, the left winger, right winger, and up top is self-explanatory. Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Haaland up top. But honourable mention to Grealish, because I think this second part of this season, again, this is where I move away from stats. Stats won't show, because I saw something mad that Sancho and Xhaka have more GA or something than him. But if you see how important he is to that City team, honourable mention. But yeah, my front three, Haaland, Nelly, and Saka.
I like it.
Yes. Patty, go on.
I'll go. So I've changed my formation to accommodate one of the league's best players. So Gunali's gonna love this.
What about Harry Kane though? Can you answer
I will. Okay, I will answer that question right now. Harry Kane has been exceptional this year. Definitely one of the best players in the league. The fact that he scored,
as in playing wise, though, I'm talking about.
Yeah. Listen, let me land. The fact that he scored it. The fact that he scored in 26 different games shows you that he's been at the level where a striker needs to be. He's not stat padded and scored 4 against one team, 3 against another. He's consistently scored in every single game that we played, essentially. He's got the most points won for a player this year. I mean, to score 30 goals is insane. To score 30 goals in this Spurs team is even crazier. And the fact that he's won us a number of games speaks for itself. Yes, of course, a striker doesn't always control a game, but their aim or their job is to score goals. And that's what Harry Kane does in abundance. Left foot, right foot, got the most headers this season in terms of all time, scored the most away goals, scored the most, just ridiculous stats. And I know Haaland has been insane, exceptional, exemplary, whatever you want to say, but so has Harry Kane. Harry Kane's got 33 goals and assists in 38 games. And the thing is, he would have had a lot more assists if, like Rom said, I've seen so many times where he's put the ball on the plate for Son, for this guy, for that guy, and they fluff their line. So for me, he has been in there and he deserves to be in the team of the season because he's been great. Like, just because Haaland's been exceptional doesn't mean Harry Kane hasn't either. So for me, I had to go for 4-1-3-2, which still makes sense. And all the players that I've named deserve to be there. The goalkeeper one was really tough because, like you guys have already mentioned, there's 3 top goalkeepers this year: Alisson, Pope, and Ramsdale. And to be fair, if you pick either one, there's good arguments for and against. No one's going to be angry. I just went for Alisson because I think out of the 3, he's probably been the most consistent over the course of the season. They've all made mistakes, but Alisson's probably made less mistakes than the other guys. And if you're talking about goalkeepers winning games, he's probably made the most important saves to keep a team in the game and to make and to give them points. I know Ramsdale did a madness against Liverpool, but over the course of the season, I think Alisson's probably been a bit better. And Alisson's probably the best keeper in the world right now. Ramsdale will get there if he continues, but right now I'm going to go Alisson. Left back, I went for Nathan Ake, who obviously it's a bit of a weird one because he's not technically a left back, but he's played there a lot of the season and he's been great. The 2 centre backs, Saliba on one side, Botman on the other. I'm surprised none of you guys have mentioned him. He's been great for
I've
Newcastle.
got him in my team.
Yeah, there you go. Fremsy knows ball. Sam Botman, obviously Newcastle and Arsenal are tied or joint for the best defense meanest defense in the league. Sorry, Newcastle and Man City, I think it is. And he's part of that. Right back Trippier did drop off at the latter stages of the season, but over the course of the season, it's been fantastic. My holding player was Casemiro. I think he speaks for himself. He did have a bit of a blip when he came back from the suspension, but over the course of the season, he's been fantastic. I've gone for 3 midfielders. I've gone for KDB, speaks for itself. Odegaard speaks for itself, and Jack Grealish, one that maybe a lot of people might not go with, but I just think he's been great. And he helped City when they were like not really at it. He took over, the goals and assists. He's just controlled the game really from that left-handed side. And then obviously up top, I've gone for Haaland and Kane, which again, 2 two of the best strikers in the world, if not 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, however you want to look at it. Both world class, insane, and they both deserve to be there. Obviously, you've got people like
Sorry,
Gomes,
Patty, who did you go
Yeah.
for? Casemiro, KDB, and who?
Casemiro, KDB, and Odegaard
Yeah.
in the 3, and then obviously the 2 up top, Haaland and Kane. There's a lot of players that I could have put in: Saka, Salah, Bruno Gomes, Ivan Toney, Luke Shaw, Lissandro Martinez. You know, I really thought about it, but I just thought the guys I mentioned, for me, were the standouts.
No Saka in your team.
No Saka. Saka's not been good for the last for the last 10 games. Saka's not really been at it, man.
I wouldn't say 10 games. I think that's a bit much.
That's
It's a bit. It's probably about. It's probably
Nah.
about right, to be
It's
fair.
about
The last
7-8
10 games.
He has fell off a little bit, but do you know what it is? I think I said this yesterday as well. I think because we're so used to seeing Saka at a certain level, when he's not hitting that level where he's looking absolutely sensational game in, we're on him a bit too fast. But because during that time, he has actually scored and assisted in them games.
Yeah, but I feel the same way about Rashford since the Carabao Cup.
Exactly. Yeah, Rashi didn't make my team either.
Yeah, he scored a couple, but he ain't been the player he was post World Cup.
Yeah, I think for me, Odegaard has probably been. If I was to give a player of the season, I would go with Odegaard for you guys. I think Saka's been great. So has Martinelli. But
yeah, I'd give it Odegaard as well. But I think
yeah.
You could talk about somebody putting their Casemiro over Rodri, deluded. And you know what? Yeah, like I was saying as well, Casemiro, for a good number of games towards the back end of the season for United, he fell off. You get me? You could have the same argument.
Let's be real. At the beginning of the season, Rodri wasn't good for City. And yeah, they've gone on a mad run, but it's the course of the season. Rodri wasn't good at the beginning of the season. So
I don't think it was down to Rodri. I think Rodri was actually one of their best players, because even if you speak to Bish and Steve and them, man, they would say the same thing. It was just defensively they didn't have that kind of organization at the back, because he was leaving man like Diaz on the bench, and he was messing around with his defense defensively. But look, we've got your team in. So Alisson, Ake, Saliba, Boltman, Trippier, Casemiro, KDB, Odegaard, Grealish, Haaland, and Kane.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's me.
It's not bad. Go on, DSG, give us yours. So am I keeping De Gea, Shaw, and Varane in there, or what?
No. None of them. I've changed the formation. I've gone 3-4-3, so there's no fullbacks.
Okay, interesting.
Reason being, I wanted to accommodate for more forward players in the midfield, and I know a lot of fullbacks.
He thinks he's Pep Guardiola over
Next thing, DSG's gonna say, "Nah, bro, I don't want to keep her. I don't want to keep her, bro."
I feel like there's a lot of forward players that just need a shout out. That's why, or even midfield players. So
you could give them an honourable mention.
I'll give him that. Because I've had to take my fullbacks out. My fullbacks were originally Zinchenko and Trippier. I think they've just both been outstanding this season. So, but they're not in here now. Anyway, goalkeeper Pope. I just think he's been vital to Newcastle this season, and in achieving Champions League football, I think he's been one of the rocks in the team. They always talk about having like a solid spine down the middle of a team, and I think he's been that for Newcastle, which is why I went with him. I know Ramsdale has been very good this season. Well, he would have been my second choice, but when it came crunch time, I feel like he was making a mistake more often than not, which you shouldn't be making in crunch time in the season. So that's why I went with Pope. Centre backs, I've gone Saliba, Diaz, and Lissandro Martinez. Martinez, I just think he's been a part of like the whole change of mentality in the way United play and the way they go about their business on the pitch. He's just a proper warrior, you know what I mean? So I had to put him in there. Saliba, the reason I've put him in there is because you see in the fall off, I think, with Arsenal's defense when he got injured, you see basically that when his injury started the downfall of Arsenal's title run. And I think before that, you could just see how solid they were. And it's like, maybe not even ability wise, I feel like they just lost when they didn't have Saliba in the defense, they just lost all their confidence. And that's why I put Saliba in there. And then Diaz, because he might not have had a great start to the season, but when the time came that they needed him, he held it down, and I think he's been solid for the last 15 games of the season. I'm not going to lie. Midfielders, I've gone Rodri and De Bruyne. Self-explanatory, really. The reason I didn't put Casemiro is because I think from what I've seen this season, I think he got away with a lot more than he should have in La Liga, which is why I ended up with 2 red cards. And he got 3 suspensions this season. 2 were red cards. 1 was for 5 yellow cards. I think his naivety got to him a bit, and this is what's got him whatever he got away with in La Liga, he's not been getting away with here. And I mean, I think we lost him for a total of maybe 10 games through suspension this season, which is like, think of how many points. That's a lot of points we've probably dropped from not having him in the team. And I think after his first suspension, which is when he missed the Arsenal game, which we lost, I feel like maybe he should have learned his lesson that he's not going to get away with that stuff here. Even after the first red card that he got, I can't remember who it was against now, but he got that first red card and he got the suspension. I feel like he should have learned his lesson, and he didn't, and it cost us a lot of points. And yeah, so that's why I went with Rodri, because I feel like he's just got the experience. And again, just like Diaz, when the time came, he knuckled down and he just grinded it out. He's been absolutely class for like the last 20 games through every competition as well, not just the Premier League. And De Bruyne, I feel like he's just been world class all season. Like, he's been literally since game one, he's been feeding Haaland, pinging balls in and across. He's literally, how many assists has he given to Haaland this season? I don't even have the number, but he's just been amazing the whole season. Left and right mid was a bit of a funny one with this, but because I've had to put 2 left mids because I couldn't put a right mid on here, but I've put Mitoma and Grealish because I think Mitoma just deserves a shout out. I think he's been absolutely world class this season. He's been a big part of Brighton's success this season, and I wanted to put him in there. And Grealish, I feel like second half of the season, he's answered to a lot of his hate that he's been getting since he joined City. He's been getting so much stick for his, just because of his price tag. It's what we were talking about last week, and I just think he's been class. He's not necessarily a fast player, but he's just got that class to him, and I feel like he's finally got that back. That Grealish that we were seeing at Villa, which is what made City sign him. I feel like we're starting to see that again. And then left wing, I've gone Rashford. Self-explanatory. Even though he's like fell off towards the end of the season, I feel like since the Carabao Cup, he's not been the same player, and it looks like he's playing with an injury. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, so I can't say. But obviously, through important parts of the season, he has been absolutely clutch for us, and he has to get in there. Right wing, I've gone Saka. Again, same kind of thing as Rashford. Even though he's not been great, he's had a very, very good season, and he was a big part of Arsenal's title push, so he had to get in there. And then striker, I've been like very torn on. It was between obviously Kane and Haaland, and I've had to go Kane. The only reason being is because he's done it in such a bad Spurs team. Whereas Haaland, for me, he's had it on a plate. I know it's all about positioning and being in the right place at the right time. But Kane has literally had to do it pretty much by himself. Yeah, he's had help here and there, but Haaland has had it on a plate. He's broke the Premier League goal record simply because of the players around him. I don't think in any other team in the Premier League he would be achieving them numbers. Whereas Kane has pretty much done it in one of the worst Spurs teams I've seen in a while. So that's why I've gone Kane.
So you're going Pope, Saliba, Martinez, Diaz, Rodri, KDB, Matoma, Grealish, Saka, Rashford, and Kane. With the 3 at the back. Say no more. Let me just get to this comment as well here. This Premsy guy is deluded by using contents on Rodri, who has been in the league and in a better team, but don't want to use the same contents for Casemiro, knowing that Rodri haven't reached 10% of Casemiro's level. If you think Rodri, who's just won the Premier League, hasn't reached 10% of Casemiro's level, you need to give your head a wobble, mate. That's all I need to say to you, because easily, Rodri is the best defensive midfielder in the world. Never mind the Premier League. So I don't know what these United fans are on, man. Mad thing.
Do you know what it is, Prem? That same guy speaking facts, bro. He just speaks shit, bro. On most channels, he's too United biased, bro. If you don't mention something good about United, he's on you. You
end
up getting blocked soon. That's what I was
Don't
got blocked from his first comment, bro. When he said, like, what did he said some madness about, like, even people in Africa got better ball knowledge. What, are people in Africa dumb or something?
Oh, is that what you said? Shit, I didn't even read
I didn't even read the end bit of the comment. I just he's not looking good.
He get blocked, bro. Like,
right, look, forget him for a second now. There's enough airtime for him. We'll give him a block in a minute. So basically, I'm going to go with my team. Now, yesterday we were speaking and I was saying Ramsdale because of certain things. And you know what? Gunnar Lee was kind of swaying me with a lot of the stuff that he was saying. But I think, honestly, putting the bias aside, I got to give it to Pope. And the reason I give it to Pope, because I think we see inside that final, the Carabao Cup, when he wasn't there in that Newcastle team, how much they were affected. And I think he very rarely makes mistakes. Yeah, he might not make the world-class saves Ramsdale does, or he might not be as good with his feet, but as a goalkeeper, he commands his box brilliant. And for me, I think getting Newcastle into the top four, I think that's a massive achievement. It's not just down to him, but they've got the best defensive record in the league, and you got to be keeping clean sheets and keeping people out your net. And I think he's a part of that defensive unit, and that's the reason I would give it him. I think for me, Ramsdale is up there with him, but of late, I've seen Ramsdale making a few mistakes, and especially in that Southampton game, within the first few seconds, giving the ball away in order to just start a demise in that game. It just kind of pissed me off. So I'd go with Nick Pope. At right back, I'll go with Trippier. And the reason I go with Trippier, I think since he's come into the team, you've seen the level he's brought. He's pumped up everybody at Newcastle. He actually left Atletico for less money, and people were talking about he's going there just for money and stuff, scoring goals from free kicks, assisting. Like, what this guy does and gives to the team is second to none, man. And when they came to the Emirates and played against us, is one of the few players that kept Martinelli quiet. Do you know what I mean? And I think that took some doing this season. So I think on a consistent basis throughout the whole season, I think you'd have to give it Trippier. In defence, I'd go centre back Saliba and Boltman. I think Boltman, quality, top notch. I think he's a bit underrated because he didn't cost 50-60 million pound, but he's made a real impact in the Premier League, and he's no nonsense, strong, good tackling. You get me, reads the game very well. And like I said, he's part of one of the best defenses in the league. I think William Saliba has to be in there for me as well, because what he's brought to Arsenal Football Club is mad. And like Bilal touched on, when he kind of got injured, that was the downfall of Arsenal. And you start seeing us capitulating at the back and squeaky bum time. I think William Saliba has to be in there. I think for the age that he is, 21, 22 years old, I don't think there's many players at that age that are better than him in that position in world football. And I can honestly say, out of the Arsenal team, I know he's going to be the player that's going to definitely be a world-class player, is William Saliba. You get me? So young, already involved in the French team where they've got bags full of defenders, and he's just been quality this season. I think most people will have him in the team. And at left back, I want to give Nathan Ake a mention. I think Nathan Ake has been quality, but the person I want to go for is Estupiñán from Brighton. I think he's been absolutely sensational, attacking, defending. Get me, he's cutting into midfield and giving overloads. For me, what Brighton have done under De Zerbi, getting into in the Europa League places, is a absolute mad achievement with the amount of money that they've spent. And I think losing their manager in Graham Potter and actually still be able to accomplish that, and not only that, be better than what they were under Potter when everyone was singing their praises anyway. So for me, it'd be him. In midfield, as the centre defensive mid, now I'm going to pick Rodri, but I think you have to give Caicedo a mention. I think he's been unbelievable. It's the reason why I think every single team wants him, because the guy's just been so dominant in midfield, breaks up play fantastic, got a wicked engine on him. He's been consistent, plays at right back at times, and he's on a mad thing, you get me? But I think if you look overall, I think you have to put Rodri in there, like I touched on. I think he's the best defensive mid in world football. I think even when City weren't doing so great, he was still one of their standout players. So I think you'd have to put Rodri. And then I'd go with Kevin De Bruyne and Martin Odegaard. I think they don't really need no explaining. Top quality players. Odegaard, I think he scored the most out of any midfielder in the league this season. Top notch, you get me? I think now he's found a home at Arsenal. He's really going, and I think he can only go levels higher because he's still a young player. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Saka. Obviously, I don't think I really need to explain much. I don't think there's any better right wingers out there at the moment than Saka in the Premier League. Haaland up front, give Kane a mention. I think what Patrick and Rom said as well, I can totally understand. I think scoring that many goals in a shit Tottenham side is crazy. And he is a top quality player, but I think what Haaland's done, the amount of records he's broke as soon as he's first come in, normally you need a year to settle into the league or whatnot. This guy's come in and just been absolutely immense. Like, I think the fastest to 3 hat-tricks in the league, and he's just been on a madness, broke the Premier League record. I don't think you can kind of dispute him. Obviously, I'm going for a 4-3-3, so I'm not trying to make any kind of adjustments for any player. I'm just putting in the best players, I think, in that position. And on the left wing, I'll have to put in Jack Grealish, because I mentioned this in our Premier League Unpacked team of the season earlier. I don't know if you guys remember when I give Jack Grealish a shout out and said, you know what, I put Grealish there because even though he wasn't at the time getting the goals and assists, what he was giving to that Man City team was just unbelievable. And I think now he's starting to come into his own. And even if you look into the Champions League, what he done to the likes of Real Madrid and people like that, this season he's just been absolutely formidable. So that's my team. Pope in goal, Trippier, Saliba, Boatman, Estupiñán, Rodri, KDB, Odegaard, Grealish, Haaland, and Saka. So that's my team. Now what we're going to do is do a combined. So for me, I'm saying 4-3-3. I don't want to make options and do 4-2-2 and 4-4-2 and all that just to accommodate for players. If you want that player in, we argue the point and we go for a vote.
The thing is, I think reason why 4-3-3 makes sense as well. The majority of clubs play that, like the majority. So I think it makes sense to do that formation. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, let's do 4-3-3, man. Let's do 4-3-3.
You know what? We're doing 4-3-3. You know what? As well, I do want to give Lisandro Martinez a shout out as well, because Lisandro Martinez, even though I think Saliba,
you have to.
He has been quality, man, and I think he has changed a lot of what's at United, and people were cussing him for his height and whatnot, and he's kind of proved everyone wrong. But I'm going to go first. Let's go in goal. Go on. DSG will go work that way. Give me your goalkeeper and tell me why, and tell me why you should be in. Is it your same as you
said? Stick with Pope, man. I got to stick with Pope.
Right. So you've got Pope. Patty, you going with Alisson.
Yeah, Alisson, yeah.
Roms with Alisson.
Yeah.
Guna with Ramsdale, and I'm going with Pope. So Alisson's got 2 and Pope's got 2. So Guna is on you. Alisson or Pope?
Wait, what's that one waiting for?
We're waiting on you.
Wait for you.
Alisson or Pope, bro. Yeah.
I was sitting there daydreaming.
He's still in Marbella, man. That's what he's doing.
That's too funny. The way he is,
he's got sunstroke on that head, fam. What's going on? You're not stuck back to 50 on that, or what, bro?
Oh man, that's too funny.
No. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going with Alisson then, bro. I'm going Alisson.
Say no more.
But Pope has been amazing. But
they've all. I think Alisson, Pope, and Ramsdale have all been really good, man. Like top levels.
I think Patrick said at the start, if you pick any of the 3, no one's gonna complain.
Exactly. So
they've all been
tough.
good.
It's tough.
We'll see. Right, say no more. So if we'll go from left back first, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Patty, are you sticking with Ake?
Yeah, gonna stick with Ake.
Right. Okay. Roms, you with Ake as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Ake as well.
Say no more. DSG, you going with Zinchenko? Okay, that's different. And Guna, you going with Shaw?
Yeah, sure, man. I think Shaw's been amazing this season. Not amazing, but I think he's been consistently good.
You know what? The problem with Shaw is because he's played CB as well.
So but I think if I'm
been amazing centre back.
I'm judging him as a left back, and you see my thing with Luke Shaw. Yeah, my thing is when I give somebody flack and I'm onto somebody.
Guna, remember they conceded 6s and 7s this season. Just remember that.
Yeah, but bro, then that means that Casemiro's gonna be dumped. Bro, if that's the case, look how bad Tottenham have been. Then that means Spurs. Harry Kane doesn't even have.
You know what? I'm going with Shaw as well because I guess he's a main left back, but his adaptability to be able to play centre back as well.
Yeah, I think
he's done a good job of it. Yeah, sure.
I think Ake as well, right? You see the thing with Ake. Ake's been good, but I think there's just been a level. I don't know, man. I think Ake's been good he's been good as a left back, but he's also been very good as a centre back. Whereas I think Luke Shaw's been a very good left back this season. And when I give people, a hard time, you have to give them, the flowers when they're doing well. I think he's done well this season, man. I think he's done well.
Right. So it looks like I've got the deciding vote. Then that's 2 for Shaw and 2 for Ake. Does nobody want to put Estupiñán in there or what? I'm just throwing that out there.
Friends, he's had a wicked season, but I think.
Sure, I mean, like Just because he's not playing for one of the big six clubs, even though they're in the top six now. You know what I mean? It's, what's
Yeah,
going
listen,
on?
what I did think is it's interesting. There's no Declan Rice in there, boy. So, I don't know. No Declan Rice is mentioned, bro.
He's not signed for Arsenal yet. Don't worry.
Everyone's talking about this Declan Rice, and no one wants. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to talk. I want to talk.
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to vote for Nathan Ake, and I do apologise about the Luke
That's
Shaw
nasty,
situation for
bro.
the United fans, but I'm gonna have to go with Ake, man. And I had reason for it. I just think this guy is being formidable, man. He's a centre back playing out of position, and he looks like the best left back in the league. You get me, especially defensively, and he's pitched in with a goal here and there. He scored against us in the FA Cup. He scored in the Premier League as well. So for me, I'd have to give it to Nathan Ake. Right, I think it's safe to say Saliba's got to be in there as centre back because pretty much all of us have put Saliba in there.
Yeah, we all done that. Yeah, that's cool.
Right, so there's 2 for Boltman from me and from Patrick. There's 2 for there's 3 for Diaz. So I think we've got to put Diaz in there.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Is everyone still staying with Diaz? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Even
cool.
Gabriel's been great, but I just think that Diaz, I think to the level he's done this season, listen, there's been games where I'm like, yo, is there a striker playing for the opposition? I think
Opposition, word.
Bro, like he's been too good.
Lock them up.
Say no more. Right back, yeah. I think Kieran Trippier has 1, 2. 2, is that it? No, I'm sure I put 3. So Kieran Trippier's got 3 votes compared to everyone else. So I think that's going to have to win. I think Kieran Trippier.
That's calm.
Yeah.
Right, here we go now. Centre defensive midfielder. So Rodri's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Rodri's got 4 votes. So Casemiro's the only one that kind of challenge him, and that's come from DSG. So I think Rodri has to go in there.
No, I gave Casemiro as well. I went Casemiro, but it's still.
Oh yeah, sorry, you went Casemiro as well. Yeah, I'm looking at my one.
But it's still 3-2 then, so it's still. But yeah, I went Casemiro.
Yeah. I don't know what you're on. You should have went for Rodri.
No, I just think the same way we talk about someone coming in for the first season and what he's done, and the fact Casemiro has also popped in with some good goals, good assists.
Now, I think he's been quality as well, but
Yeah.
I think what Rodri's gives City, like when you watch Rodri play for City,
I
he's
know.
general in midfield, man.
I hear. I mean, either way, you can argue the toss either way. Again, I just lean towards Casemiro, but I'm not mad with Rodri either, not at all.
Someone put Stones over Saliba, and the reason I've not really put Stones inside the centre back pairing is because he's been playing as a fuck. I was gonna start swearing then. He's been playing as a as a centre, like a centre mid, in it more or less.
Yeah, auxiliary, or how you play it?
Auxiliary,
yeah. That's
I mean,
I will say Stones has been. He's again. I think this. You know my thing with the DM with Casemiro and with Stones. My only thing with them, which is to give them credit, is I think Stones' level this season and Casemiro's level this season has been higher than Rodri and Saliba. But I think over the course of the season, Rodri and Saliba have been better. I think there's been games where Casemiro, I have to say, has been out of this world. I remember, I think Chelsea away, this guy was, I know Chelsea ain't great, but this guy was just moving crazy.
Terrible at that point. That was before.
I know. And I think even Stones this season, some of the games he's from centre back, he's been mad. But I think over the course of this season, when you look at Saliba and when you look at Rodri this season, I think over the course, I'm like, I think they've been too much, man. So that's why I think I didn't choose them. But I want to
honorable mention though. Honorable.
I want to definitely shout at Casemiro though. I think Casemiro's his level. Yeah,
he's been a big reason why United have finished third and won a Carabao Cup.
You know what? I know we're trying to whiz through this, but just quick question for you and Prem and Guna Lee. You confident Saliba signs that contract? I'm seeing a lot of talk.
Yeah. He's coming. Listen. You see my.
Yeah, 1 minute. Guna, your sauce is what they're telling us, fam.
No.
We know you got them sauce.
Yeah, no, it's good. But you see, my thing is, it's almost like people want to use the sun as an outlet when it picks and chooses for them, but they don't listen to the sun normally. But now the sun's reporting this automatically is true. Come on, man.
Sorry, I haven't seen anything. What are they saying, or what is that?
They're saying that basically they're trying to say that they're trying to cause trouble to act like Arsenal have been taken back by the amount that he's asking for. But
okay.
It's
you
all,
know what? When
rubbish,
anyone's
man.
coming off from the sun, the only people that read that is when they go in to try to look at page 3 first.
Page 3, bro.
Looking at it, like, you get me? So
Aye,
you don't want to
man.
pay no mind to them in it. You know what them
No.
man are doing in their bedroom. You get me with
There you
some
go.
free right about now.
There you go.
Right, I think midfield. I think pretty much everybody has put Kevin De Bruyne, and so he's got to be in there. KDB. Odegaard's got 1, 2, 3. So Kevin De Bruyne and Martin Odegaard, I'll say, has to go in because they've got majority of the votes.
Cool.
Right winger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Saka's got 4 of the votes, so we're gonna
honorable mention to flipping Mahrez as well. Do you know what? He's not been getting used much this season, but whenever he plays, he's class. Honest to God, I feel like he's being wasted at City. I swear, he's class. He's
another player.
He is
I
quality.
think he could leave. I think he might actually say.
I think he needs to go, bro. I think he's being wasted at City.
Yeah, I agree.
Where do you reckon he'll go? Real Madrid or somewhere?
Somewhere, bro. I don't know Madrid, but somewhere like, I don't know, abroad, like
somewhere a bit lower, I think.
An Inter or something, like just putting a nice little bid.
No way he was gonna play every game.
He might come to Arsenal to battle it out with Saka on the right.
You know what though? Like, there's a little bit
smaller competition.
Even centre mids and honourable mentions. Listen, people ain't gonna give it to him, but Xhaka, I think he's been very good this season. I think Bruno Gomes as well over the course of the season. And listen, people ain't gonna give him his flowers, but Joe Linton this season, he's been sourcing. So
he's a 7 out of 10 most games.
Sourcing, man.
Good honourable mentions. I think we still got to mention the likes of Højbjerg and Fabinho and these kind of men.
What?
Say no more. Right, left wing. Yeah, we've got Grealish. 1, 2, 3. We've got Grealish in there 3 times, so I think we'll go in with Grealish. That takes most of the votes. And now up front, I'm going to let us debate about the Kane and the Haaland situation for a little couple of minutes, because I think there's very good, valid arguments for Harry Kane to be in there, but at the same time, I think what Haaland's done this season is just beyond me.
You know what it is? If I had to pick one as the striker, I rate Kane highly, but it has to be hard. Like, you can't ignore everything he's better. And I agree with DSG. Maybe in another team, does he get this much goal? Who knows? With Kane, he gets that in most teams. But just for what Haaland's done, man, we've never seen this before. And I saw something. If he carries on, if he has this season another 13, 14 times, which is great, anything can happen, injuries and that. But he goes on this trajectory. He's on course to score the most goals ever. Like, he's crazy. He's a freak of nature. So I would. If I had to pick one out of the two, it would be Haaland for this season. But Kane's had a 6 season as well.
I do think if you put Harry Kane inside Man City's team, though, he'd probably do exactly what Haaland's doing, though. I do believe that. I think
True.
Harry Kane is quality. I do like him, even though he's a top.
But you know what? Guy. A lot of people are making out like, I'm not saying no one in this panel, because I know they're not, and I know everyone knows football. But a lot of people are making out like Haaland's scoring tap-ins, and he's scoring these goals that he's been fed through. Look at the goal that he scored against Southampton away, bro. Overhead kick. Look at the goal he scored against West Ham. Slid through, slapped it in at the beginning of the season. Look at the goal he scored against Dortmund in the Champions League last minute, and a flat overhead kick again. Again, listen, I'm not discrediting Harry Kane. Listen, I hate Harry Kane. I really do. And he has been fantastic. And I gave him, listen, that goal that he scored against Brighton at home was otherworldly. But I think people need to look at what Haaland's done this season. And he's been great as a striker. Yes, he's lucky that he's got the power and the strength because he's 6'3", whatever it is, and he can use his attributes. But for him to do those things at that height.
6'4", stop trying to take an inch off him, fam. So you're taller. We know what you're on.
Listen. Like, if he's my height and he wants to come and box me, listen, we can do a little something still. But the guy's he's about it, man. And again, that doesn't discredit Harry Kane at all. But I just think when you look at Harry Kane's all-round game in most games this season, he's not been great. He hasn't been great. But
I can't agree with
great,
that,
man.
Can't
But
agree with
that doesn't mean what he's good at is creating and scoring goals. That's fantastic. I can't discredit a man for that, bro. But and when I mean most goals, that's me being disingenuous. There's been a few too many games, let me say that, where he's not stood out, he's not played well, but he's got a goal, and that again, there's no problem.
You can say the same for Haaland, though. I think you can say the same for any top striker. Top strikers don't have to dominate a whole game. They just need to be clinical and precise in their moments. I've seen many a game where Haaland doesn't do anything other than when he scores the goals. Like, there's a joke that he's had the least touches in this and that, and he scores 2 goals. So I don't know how you can come off with that, because when Harry Kane will still have a weight of pass that's insane. He'll still create 2 or 3 chances in a game, and he'll still do other things that Haaland doesn't do. They're 2 completely different strikers. And the thing is, I love Haaland. I think he's great. Even when people discredit him and say they're tap-ins, he's in the right place at the right time. Exactly. That is an art in itself. He busts a gut to make sure he's in the right. If you watch him, the movement on corners, even when he sees that a fast break is about to develop, my man's sprinting and he's always in the right place at the right time. You can't teach that. It's like Robbie Fowler. Those guys just know where to be. And that in itself is an art. It's a thought. You can't teach that to anybody. Hence why these guys are the ones scoring those goals in every game. So, for me, it's so difficult because I think Harry Kane deserves to be in any team of the season. But if we're only going with one striker, I will give it to Haaland just because of the age, what he's done, the fact that everyone said Man City was going to be worse this year and they ended up being better. He scored 36 goals, which is insane. He's got 8 assists. He's been incredible, but so has Kane. And look, even if you look at the game, Brentford, that goal that Harry Kane scored, it wasn't a free kick per se because the ball was actually rolled to him. But how many strikers are doing that? How many strikers can score from outside the box with either foot like Kane can? Scored the most headers this season, scored the most away goals, scored in the most games in Premier League history. That's great, though. It's insane in itself. But if you got to go with one striker only, I'll give it to Haaland. But I still think it's criminal that Harry Kane can't get in the team of the season with what he's done. That's my argument.
Don't really lock us up, throw away the keeper. PSG, are you going for?
Yeah, I see what everyone else is saying.
I said Martial.
Man said Wiggles.
Nah.
I forgot he existed.
He's starting on the weekend, didn't it?
Martial's got a hammy, so he's
out
the final.
Yeah, he's out the final.
Yeah.
Go on, DS.
What's the votes right now?
I think it's pretty much everyone's on Haaland. Obviously,
voting.
I just want to know your opinion. If you had one, obviously I know you were a Kane fan.
Asking me to put one in my team, it's going to be Kane, because if the rest of the team has an off day, I still know Kane, from what I've seen, can do something. Whereas with Haaland, I feel like he just does need that support to be out. He's a world-class player, it's undoubtable, but he needs that around. He needs them Rodri and De Bruyne assists. He needs them balls coming through.
Feel like Kane
to be able to do his job, for him to be able to get in behind and do all these, be in the box ready for a header to poach a goal. He needs them balls coming in. He can't self-make a goal. He can't smack in. Yeah.
I think Kane is the better striker as well, but I'm just saying, team of the season this year, what Haaland's done in his first season, scoring that many goals, that many assists. If I have to go one begrudgingly, I will go with Haaland. But I
think you have to. I think the reason I put Kane in because I knew everyone was going to go Haaland, and I think Kane definitely deserves. Kane deserves a mention. He's been outstanding.
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Amazing.
One thing I'll try and do is I'll always try and be an honest fan, and people will get onto me about my Romero takes or this and that. But I'm always honest. Even if I say this about Romero, it's because I believe it.
If we all made the same team in the season,
it'd be boring.
It'd be 9 of the same players. But I went with players like Mitoma and all that and Grealish because I wanted to try and give a mention to some people who've probably been crucial in parts of the season where it's
100%.
mattered. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I mean,
I hear that. I
Rodri
do
has
hear
been
that.
absolutely crucial. He's been the spine in that City team. If he was playing how he's playing at the start of the season, this whole chasing Arsenal would have gone to shit. You know what I mean? Grealish the same. I feel the same way about him. So I tried to be a bit different. And I feel even with Kane, bro, I think without Kane, you'd be fucking 14th behind Chelsea.
Mate, yeah, we were like, look at the different amount of goals he scored in different games as well. Like I said, so you can see that.
Just stuff
he's
like
been
that free kick he scored,
I
absolutely
know, it's
outstanding.
crazy. Yeah,
World
the
class.
levels are nuts.
So we're safe to say then it's Haaland.
It's
Obviously, I haven't
Haaland, but
picked
Kane is up there.
I think you do got to give an honourable mention to Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins as well. I think them
100%.
two strikers have been
Not just
unbelievable
not
as
honorable
well.
mention at RIP to Tony as well.
Yeah, but it is what it is, isn't it? You get me? I'm not going to lie. If I weren't going to get clocked, I would have bet myself as well.
Do you think what he's done is bad? Have you seen what happened with Quincy Promise?
Yeah.
1.3 tons of coke he's been caught with.
Don't lie.
75 million euros worth of coke.
He's some big time,
bro.
He's heavyweight.
He's made football.
This ain't even the first madness he's done.
He's made
stabbed his
football.
cousin. It's crazy.
He's made football his side hustle.
I better not speak on this topic because that's all I'm speak on this topic. But look, people, I'm going to read out our team of the season and then I'm going to wrap it up. So officially, obviously, I'm guessing Bish would have maybe said a few different names. But we've got Alisson in goal, Aki at left back, Saliba, Diaz, Trippier, Rodri, KDB, Odegaard, Saka, Grealish, and Haaland. And to be fair, I think that's an absolutely fantastic team. You put that team inside Champions League, it's probably winning it every single year, man. I'm telling you, a mad thing. But guys, make sure you smash a like on this video. It's very important. Thank you to everyone in the chat that's shown love and put in comments over the season as well. Obviously, we know the season's over, but we will be doing Premier League Unpacked. We won't do it as frequent every single Monday, but we will do an episode here and there to maybe discuss big transfers and stuff like that. So make sure you stay locked in for that. Again, go in the description below and show the man them love. Hit the subscribe button because they all deserve it. You get me? Everyone's growing their channels and we can't do it without you. So please make sure you do that. But on that note, people, peace and love, and we'll see you next time.
Peace, man.